On this episode, we welcome back, it's been like a year, Slane, Highway Hypodermics, travel nurse Newbies.
Yes.
Anything else? Is that?
Nothing I can tell you.
Oh my gosh. Travel nurse veteran, Slane joins us again. Alice All Access starts now.
From Kirkin at 0450.
All right. Welcome back.
Hey, Rich. How's it going?
What are you doing here?
Well, I came to warm up. It's 9 degrees.
It's like 30 outside.
Well, I know, but it was 9 degrees when I left my house.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I come to see dry pavement.
Okay.
And, yeah, we have. He was telling me a while ago that they had a lot of snow here, and I'm like, you don't know. You don't know the definition of a lot of snow. I'm from Idaho. We count our snow in feet, not in inches.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for making me feel mighty welcome with
Right.
snow and 37-degree weather.
Right. So it kind of feels like home a little bit, right?
Yes.
A light
Yes.
dusting at home then. How's that?
There you go.
So then I thought it'd be an interesting kind of contrast from the last time you were here to have Braden join us. Now, Braden, as we all know, is on camera far too much here, but it makes sense now because you just started as a recruiter like
6 months ago.
Maybe 6 months ago?
I'm bumping up to 6 months.
Yeah. So you are a travel nurse recruiter newbie.
Yes.
And your specialty
Is teaching travel nurse newbies and new recruiters.
Absolutely.
The last time I was here, had a great time with your recruiters. I do a little 30-minute to an hour seminar on what nurses want in a recruiter. Because as you know, Rich, it's hard to give nurses what they want if you don't know what they want.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll have to do some more talking later, honey.
Yeah, I've been waiting for training for 6 months, so this will be nice to know what I'm doing finally.
Right. Yeah, because we really give them virtually no training
No.
whatsoever. So none. I'm
No.
absolutely kidding. But
I know.
but
That's because you make them read the book.
absolutely, yeah. So you've been doing this. Let's start with that. You have been a travel nurse for how many years?
For 15 years.
15 years.
I started in 2003.
And who was your first recruiter?
Oh, somebody very special to my heart. My very first recruiter was Steve Ryan. As far as I know, I was at least one of his first 3 nurses. And it's funny now because we're both, I'm a leader in the travel nursing sector where he's the leader of he's Atlas Med Staff. He's
Yeah.
a CEO with Rich here. And so, yeah, it's funny how far we've come along in 15 years. And what's really funny, if you want a good kick, is that in my first book, I wrote a journal about my first travel assignment. And so if you ever want to get a good kick out of Steve Ryan, just ask him about that first assignment. Because it's funny, I wrote this completely as, I got a recruiter, this is my feelings. And now 15 years later, my recruiter, that I was really questioning if he knew what he was doing or not, now runs Atlas Med Staff. So obviously he does know what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe a little
Well,
bit.
most days.
He was so green back then, though. Like he was so new, and I think it's funny. I hope we can find the clip, and we'll put the clip up there because you're like, I don't know about this guy.
I'm gonna walk outside and ask him as soon as we are done.
Don't. He's still sore about it. He's still, yeah.
I think I'm past my return policy, but
Are
Possibly.
you off of probation now?
I don't know. Maybe it depends.
You go back on.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second then. From a newbie recruiter standpoint, give Braden one or two key pieces of advice. What would you tell him right off the bat?
The most important thing I think is that you need to know your nurse or your allied health. That's coming. That's a big thing now. So you need to know your healthcare provider, because you can't, if you don't know what they want and what they need actually, then you can't provide that to them if you don't know what they need and what they want.
Right.
So that's one of your first things that get you a piece of paper and write it down, so that you're not asking and you're like, oh, I forgot what I asked. What does she want? I have a recruiter now that still remembers my son's birthday. Of course, it's on April 1st, but she remembers every year and will send him an email or a card. So get to know your people so that you know how you can relate to them. Don't try to force them into an assignment, because you really need, that hospital's really leaning on you to get somebody. Find a nurse that fits that assignment. Don't try to push a nurse into that assignment. But also, on the other hand, it's nice if you can, if you know that nurse well enough, you're comfortable in saying, hey, I know this is not really where you really want to go, but would you consider this? So I've gone to several places that, that really wasn't on my list, but, it ended up being a great assignment. So
you hear that often, actually. There's a fine line between that where a nurse would say, do not send me someplace cold, right?
Right.
But then something comes up. Braden is guilty of this, right? It just happened, but something came up and the pay was right, and he's like, look, I know you don't want anything cold, but how about Lincoln, Nebraska? Sure enough, they're here and they love it. So you have to understand, right? You have to understand where that's at. You can't just keep hammering them with, well, I have Lincoln. How about Wichita? You're absolutely correct.
And I think the next biggest thing that I could tell you about is keep track of, when your nurses are working, so that if you have a night shift nurse or a day shift nurse, you know when to call them, or their preference in communication. Phone call, email me, and then we'll set up a phone call, because that communication is, that to me, that's your worst job. I would never want your job, because it's a communication thing. But communication is very important, and it's important for you to know how your nurses want to be communicated with. And I can't remember the exact specifics of it, but I did a survey, and actually nurses would phone call whenever you're setting up an assignment. After the assignment is obtained, then they want all communications, or most communications, by email. And then on down the road, they might even want them by text. So, and different people communicate different ways.
Right.
And so you need to know your nurses and how they prefer to be called or messaged, and the appropriate time for you to call them. Because as a night nurse, you call me at noon and then say, "Hey, I haven't been able to get a hold of you the last 3 days." Well, that's because I've been sleeping.
Right.
Let me call you back at midnight. Leave me your home phone number. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and that seems like pretty basic stuff, but it
matters a lot.
It matters a lot. And it's one of those things that just, you hear it over and over and over again, right? That my recruiter, and not maybe from us, I don't know, it could happen for us, but my recruiter doesn't know when I work, and he calls me at noon, and I'm sleeping or whatever and stuff. We're not an 8 to 5 job here anymore, right? That's just not. No. It just isn't. You're not. We're not. It's a lot of text messaging and emails and direct messages on Facebook, and
right.
And when you get to it, you get to it. So, from your standpoint, 6 months in, what have some of the pitfalls been? What do you think? What's the one thing that you're like, I did not expect that whatsoever?
Oh, wow. Honestly, just about everything I didn't expect. This, it's not like there's a super inclusive training manual. It's good, but there's so many things that are, this is what I learned in training, and 3 days after training, here's the exact opposite situation, and go for it. So, I think you're right. How nurses want to communicate and being flexible to connect with people how they best want to connect has been a super, it can be a pretty aggressive learning curve for somebody that's not used to, well, hey, I'll take your calls on the weekends, or I'll take your calls. I seem to work with a lot of night nurses. I don't know if I'm just a glutton for punishment, but I'm taking phone calls. I'm working with a nurse that's an Alaska night nurse right now, which is basically like I need a time machine to connect with her. But I've talked to her 2 or 3 times at 1 a.m, and I mean, I can't get a hold of her in any sort of normal business hours, so it's just
that is our normal business hours.
That's their normal business hours.
But,
yeah,
if you think if you come into this thinking 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, like you're missing out on so many people that need to connect in a different way.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. So you've seen it evolve over the years.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's changed dramatically.
I remember, I think my first contract came by as paper from FedEx. And now they're like, what is FedEx?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now our one sheet of paper we have to get signed is like a huge hassle.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big deal when there are some states that still require a wet signature on like background check forms and stuff. Like we can't use DocuSign on. Are you kidding me? You can't just do that.
I'm gonna send it by a stagecoach if I have to. I guess.
Yeah. We were faxing profiles back in the day. Like that was we'd take that profile down and run it through a fax machine. To nurse managers and.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, it's changed.
It's changed.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we have way better recruiters now than we did when Steve Ryan was on the phone. So.
I would never say that.
Well, he did okay. We made it through my first assignment together.
Yeah, you made it.
And here we are 15 years later.
So let's talk about your book. That it just came up again on Amazon, like it just on the bestseller list.
Yeah, you know what? I check it just about every day, I just to see where we're at and all that. And last week I got on there and I had a Newbies Guide to Travel Nursing was number 13, and Highway Hypodermics Travel Nursing 2019 was number 14. So I had both 13 and 14, and it's like, wow, that is just, and it's not, it just amazes, because I'm just a traveler. I'm the same as everybody else. I'm not anything spectacular. I just put it down on paper.
Yep.
And, but there is such a need for honest information out there that, it's just, it really surprises me how, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to teach nurses and allied health and, even lab, they're branching out into lab and stuff. Teach people how to do this and how to do it the right way.
Right.
Because the more that newbies learn what to do, how to get along with the recruiter. I'm in town doing a video series, and so that's one of our videos is getting along with the recruiter and working with the company and how to find the right company. But it's just, I consider it such a privilege to teach people how to do things the right way, so that you get into it and you know what you're doing, and you can work with a recruiter, you can work with a hospital, and it just makes it so much better for the end product, which is the patient. Because if you have a happy nurse, you're going to have a happy patient. It all boils down to making happy patients.
Well, you'll have a happy agency too.
Yes.
So there we go.
And that's important too.
That's important too.
Very important.
If you haven't checked out Kay's book, legitimately it's the travel nurse Bible, right? If you want to be a travel nurse and that's how you consume information, if you like to read, pick up that book. You've been doing it for how many years now?
I think I counted earlier that this is my 7th edition.
Okay.
Because we did 5, 7, 9, 12, 15, 17, and 19.
7th edition.
So this is the 7th edition of Highway Hypodermics, Travel Nursing, whatever the year is. So this edition is Travel Nursing 2019. It's the 7th edition. We do them every 2 to 3 years. update them. So it is like the most up-to-date travel nursing book out there. Not that there isn't other great books out there, but it is your most recent and up-to-date. And well, I did take this winter off, but I have continued to be a travel nurse. I now, for the last 5 years, I have traveled as a house supervisor. So I'm still in the game. I've taken the summer off to work on some projects and, well, stay home with the grandbaby.
Yep.
But
That's important.
my little junior marketer. But yeah, so as soon as we've got some right now we're cranking on a new Travel Nursing Newbies website that's coming out that's specially dedicated for the new traveler. We're working on 9 videos.
Yep.
And thank you, Rich and Atlas, for sponsoring us.
Absolutely.
I consider it a privilege. We're working with some great companies. There's only an elite 8 companies that we're working with, and they're all bound to help nursing newbies and allied newbies get into it, and they take you by the hand and walk you through the process. So we kind of help you narrow down the search for a great company. Not that those are the only great companies out there, but we feel they're 8 of the best that are dedicated to providing great information to new travelers.
Absolutely. So, and we are super honored to be part of that 8 and to continue our partnership with you, not only through Highway Hypodermics, but on the Newbies page now too. So if you're new to traveling, even if you're not new to traveling, but you just want some information, her book is available. We'll put a link down here, somewhere down here to Amazon. Your Facebook group is
Travel Nursing Newbies.
Nursing Newbies.
Groups, and then just Travel Nursing Newbies.
Yep.
And I'm on there more than I should be. But if you have any questions, I'm always open. There is no dumb question.
Nope.
On Travel Nursing Newbies on Facebook. So we'll get all your questions answered and get you down the right path. We want you on the right path, and we want you to know what you're doing instead of going off blindly.
Right, absolutely. There are resources out there, and Kay has been a resource for years. So I don't want to make you sound old. So how about this? I have used Kay as a resource for years, and I have really gray hair. So that's how long.
I have really gray hair and Miss Clairol. So.
So, Kay, thank you so much. I really appreciate
thanks
you
for
coming
having
back.
me.
Can we not make it a year again next time? Can we do it like in 6 months or something?
She's
Oh,
on Facebook.
gosh.
You can just reach out there.
No, it's more fun when she's here in
Well,
town.
no, I get that,
Yeah.
but get the taste. Through
Yeah,
you.
do you know any good golf courses that are close?
Well, not right now. No.
Well, I know. So see, I had to come back during the summer.
That's true.
So that we can go play golf.
You will be back for the for that conference, the Healthcare Travelers Take Omaha conference.
And yes, Omaha. Omaha takes care of no. It's the Travelers who are taking over Omaha.
Yes.
And that is in April, I believe, the 4th. I want to say around the 4th through the 8th.
I think that's right.
Am
I don't
I
know
right?
without knowing for sure.
Yeah, we'll
put
close.
the actual date like right down here.
Very good.
Right there.
Very
so.
good. But yeah, we're having just a small, intimate little thing for healthcare travelers. We're narrowing it down to 150 travelers. And there's going to be not more, I don't think we're doing more than 10 to 15 companies per traveler. So it's going to be a good, smaller setting to get to learn all about travel healthcare.
Yep. So if you want more information on that, check out, it'll be right, we'll put the link to the site, to the Facebook group right down here.
Right. Yeah,
so.
I'll be back for that because I'm doing the master of ceremonies for that.
Perfect. So we'll have you back here then when you do that too. So, all right, Braden, thank you so much. That's I think it's a lot of fun as a new recruiter to get that kind of insight. That's it's super valuable.
Well, it's nice to finally have at least a little bit of training.
So. A little bit, yes. Yeah, finally. So awesome. Okay, thank you again.
Thanks again for having me, Rich.
Anytime. We'll see you next week.